All right, we are live. Let me hit let me hit record. Hold on. Okay. Hello, welcome to Black to Black Talk Show. I have Gabrielle Crichlow. Crichlow. Is that right?
Close enough. It's
Crichlow.
Crichlow, yeah.
Crichlow. Crichlow. Okay. I welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Okay, I'm gonna read your bio and then we'll start asking a few questions. Okay.
All right,
I
sounds
have
good.
I have Gabrielle Crichlow is the owner and director of a Step Ahead tutoring services. She brings a wealth of academic excellence as well as a proven record of tutoring to the field of education. Gabrielle received her master's degree in clinical mental health counseling from St. John's University in 2015. While she attended the university, she worked at two companies where she tutored students at a no cost to them. While she was working at both companies, she saw the academic struggles of working class families that were disproportionately African American, Hispanic, and South Asian. She believed that the allotment of hours, which was 26 hours of tutoring for the entire year, was definitely not enough for them. Furthermore, she believed that the students in these families tend to have unknown learning disabilities, were almost illiterate and uneducated. Gabrielle reached a point where she realized these students deserve more than what these companies offer them. A light bulb went off in her head. I'll start my own company. Gabrielle's experience at these companies provided her with the insight she needed to excel at and enjoy tutoring, while inspiring other tutors to do the same. Then she founded a Step Ahead tutoring services in 2013 and has operated it ever since. That's awesome. It helping underdeserved students and families. That's wonderful. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself besides what I just read about your company and what you do?
I mean, it's everything is pretty much said it in the bio, but yeah, I've been an entrepreneur for I think I'm coming up on 10 years.
Mm.
Yeah, this October, it's about to be 10 years as an entrepreneur. So I've definitely went through the highs and lows of entrepreneurship. You see what got me started in this journey is something that the spirit was always there, the desire to be my own boss and not have to take orders from anybody and
Yeah.
to be able to create jobs for other people and to use my creative skills for a bigger cause, right?
Okay.
Because I was creating like cheap websites when I was younger and
Mm-hmm.
making brochures and flyers and I was always trying to create something
Mm-hmm.
and it was like I was doing it for other people and
Yeah.
then it was and I think I also have some authority issues but I got to a point where I just decided I want to do this for myself and
Mm-hmm.
how can I take my skills and my creativity and my ideas and put it for something bigger and use it to profit for myself. And so I happened to go to a small business conference at my church.
Mm-hmm.
And, I actually went for a completely different reason.
Mm-hmm.
But then, I was caught up in the moment, I guess.
Yeah.
And
Uh-huh.
I just decided, what, I'm just gonna go for it. And I've been tutoring since 2005. So I've been in the game for just some quick math here for probably like around 18 years.
18 years. Okay.
18 years. So I've been tutoring on and off for 18 years. And well, 18 years up to today. But I think up to 11 years. But at the time I started the business, but I've been in the game for a while, and I just figured, I'm already in it. I might as well just continue. And I value education. It was always a big part of me growing up. And so I just decided, what, I'm just going to take what I know and what I'm good at. I'm just going to take that leap of faith and put a name on it.
Okay.
And and
Yeah.
that's it. And here I am
Okay.
today.
So that's really your why. That's because you've seen the a lot of kids having struggles and that they're not actually getting a proper education. So that is your why of starting it, or is it like you said, uh that's kind of you love education, so that's why you started. What is your why?
I think I find I just the type of people that I tutored, they tended to be on the lower income side,
Mm-hmm.
and I noticed some glaring differences.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that they struggled with reading, pronouncing words, phonics, that they had a ridiculous amount of homework,
Yeah.
that and a lot of them had learning disabilities and didn't even know it, or
Mm-hmm.
maybe they did know it and they didn't get the proper attention for it, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And it was all these little things that I noticed, and I think because they're lower income, they
Mm-hmm.
tended to have access to, or not a lot of access to, a lot of resources, academic resources, and also falling behind in school,
Mm-hmm.
and uh, not showing up to school, not turning
Yeah.
in homework, being lazy, low
Mm-hmm.
self-confidence. And so, because I noticed these differences, I think I wanted to address that, and I wanted to kind of to show that, no matter what your financial
Yeah.
status is, you could still get a
Uh,
proper
uh,
education and proper training. And so,
uh,
even if it's the smallest thing, I always believe in, never underestimate the power of a seed. So
yeah.
even if it's the smallest change, that makes the biggest difference. And
Okay.
I've seen
So
that. And that is my why, because I want to change the dynamic of the lives of these students.
okay. Uh, so on your entrepreneur journey, is what is some of the highs you've had so far? Can you and some lows that you can tell us about and how you got through it?
My highs. I would say watching the the fruits of my labor,
Mm-hmm.
I would say. And because I've also hired several tutors under me,
Mm-hmm.
but the fruits of, I guess I should, our labor, the fruits of
Yeah.
our labor in that, seeing the students that we've tutored and seeing them going into bigger and better things, and hearing the testimonials from parents, and when they say, oh, like my child is, he loves school now, or he's doing better in
Yeah.
school, he's showing more confidence, he's taking more chances, I'm not yelling at him as much, and he's actually doing his homework, or now um he's going into this special high school or this special college, and all that is because of what you did.
Yeah.
And that is a big deal, because it's like
Yeah.
you change, like I said, like you change the course of their life, you know
Yes.
because you instilled confidence, because you taught them the skills to get out of their situation.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
so, and just kind of putting it on them, like, hey, this is on you, like teaching the kids, like, this is your life and you control where it goes, I think it it gave them that sense of confidence that they chose where they want to go, and to show them like, hey, I can do this, I can read, and especially taking something so complex and breaking it down into simple things, and like, and giving them that, like I said, that confidence, and just giving them the thought of, hey, I can actually do this now, and taking that and applying it to their their schooling, their social lives, their professional lives. It definitely changes where they end up later on. And so seeing where they end up and seeing those changes, and it's definitely a success
Okay.
for me and my company.
Okay, that's good. That's
And
wonderful.
oh, go ahead. You asked me about the lows. The
Yeah,
lows,
Lois.
um, I would say that the nature of tutoring is very unstable. Um, in that we have high periods or very popular periods, like I would say like October and March. So sort of like 1 month into the school year.
Hmm.
And then you have the slower periods like the summer. Um, so it's definitely seasons.
Yeah.
So it's preparing for that. Um, and I was hit hard by the pandemic. So
Hmm.
as my team and I were doing in-person sessions, and so we
Yeah.
were hit hard when everything shut down. But we had to pivot to online pretty quickly.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and now, that's where we're at now. Now we're doing hybrid online and in person. But I would say, any kind of catastrophic event,
Yeah.
you would be hit hard. As long as nothing happens to the internet, we're okay. Um, I would say, yeah. So like the pandemic hit us hard, and we have seasons.
Hmm.
Um, and then just just dealing with, tutors have lives, and so they sometimes they leave or not, they're not available, or so just
Yeah.
kind of dealing with the highs and lows of hiring others. So
Okay.
there's a lot of, and then and it's just me as the sole director. So
Hmm.
I wear a lot of hats.
Yeah.
It,
That's
it,
tough too.
that is tough.
Yeah.
It's not great business practice. I really should uh delegate more, but yeah, it's just me at the top right now, and that can be a lot to deal with.
Okay. So as in your tutoring, I know it's summer months. Do you ever promote more during the summer months? So because a lot of kids come out, they have tough school year, and some parents may be looking for somebody to tutor their child while during the summers. So I will promote right now because it's some
Yes,
parents.
yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, I'm doing that now. So what I've done, I'm actually in the summer promotion right now. I've actually been doing this promotion for the past, well, this is the 7th year,
Hmm.
doing a summer movie promotion.
Hmm.
Um, so use us during the summer. You get 2 free tickets to a local movie theater. So I'm doing that promotion right now,
Hmm.
and I'm definitely, promoting more
Okay.
over the
Where are you located at? So they'll know.
in in Brooklyn, New York.
Brooklyn, New York. Okay. So yeah, go to you hear her? She's in Brooklyn, New York. Y'all need a tutor. Y'all need to check her out because I know a
Well,
lot of
just
kids.
let me just clarify. Yeah, that's where our home base is, but we do virtual services. So we do virtual tutoring, so we are available
Cross.
across the
Okay.
country. Yeah.
Okay. That's good. Good to know.
So we're
Uh,
available anywhere, in-home services, in New York City, in our local town, but online tutoring, we're available anywhere.
Anywhere. Okay. That's good. Good to know. So I had already asked you what made you decide to be what side made you decide to do a business instead of going into the schools system teaching.
I think the ability to control my schedule more,
Mm-hmm.
and the school systems, it's working with large groups of kids.
Mhm.
And frankly, I don't like working a 9 to 5. So
Yeah.
I like working,
Your
at
your own
different
out.
hours,
Yeah.
and have waking up later in the day, and
Mhm.
as teachers go through so much, they have quotas to meet and lessons
Mhm.
to prepare, and
Mhm.
I didn't want to be burdened with that. So, and
Uh,
shout out to all the teachers, but they definitely go through a lot, and
yeah, like yeah.
they don't get paid enough for it. So,
Yeah.
um, I wanted my own schedule and
Yeah.
more control,
Independent.
more, yeah, definitely independence, and those authority issues, right? I don't want to be told
Yeah.
what to do. So, definitely more control over how I do my lessons, how I do my day.
Yeah. So do you plan out lesson plans for each student based on their needs, right?
Yeah, based on their needs, based on how they're doing academically, based on what their parents say, and based on what
Okay.
they're doing at the time.
Okay. Uh do what age group you do? Is it any do you do colleges in high school or elementary? What age groups do you do?
We do all ages, so we do elementary, middle, high school, and college as well.
Oh, okay. Uh so what is some of your what is your next what is your bold audacious dream you have for your business that's coming?
Hmm, my bold, audacious dream. Well, um, I'm also I have a podcast with my company, so I would love to get on TV. I've gotten on some public access stations, so I
Mhm.
definitely want to expand my podcast into the television space.
Okay.
Um, and even get on radio.
Hmm.
So radio and TV, that's one bold thing there.
Yeah.
And um also, let's see, what's another something bold.
Not to worry about anything.
Not
Everything
to
goes
worry about
smoothly.
anything. I gotta think about it, but
Yeah, we know it's gonna happen.
definitely, definitely, like big events, big events that I can put on in my state, as well as going to other states and doing it. So,
Okay.
um, whether virtual, or whether in person, um, and even reaching out to other countries as well, and leaving the United States and doing things global.
Yeah. So speaking. So you want to do some speaking, like into different
Yeah,
events or
speaking, or like daycare centers,
conferences and stuff.
conferences,
Yeah. Okay.
having like opening up a school myself,
Mm-hmm.
or having partnering with some homeschooling organizations, so things like that.
Okay. That's good. Uh. So. Okay. So you're a CEO of your company. So how do you play a role in collaboration with other businesses?
Well, I collaborate in things that we need, that we can work together on, to get to the same goal. So,
Mhm.
I've collaborated with other businesses for virtual events that I've put on, like
Mhm.
a homeschooling one-on-one
Mhm.
event. I collaborated with other businesses on that. I'm working with another business right now and putting a virtual event about the dangers of social media. So I'm
Mhm.
working on that now. So whenever we have common goals,
Mhm.
I work with them and trying to build our businesses together, and even bringing a lot of those businesses to my podcast,
Mhm.
um, to share what they do
Yeah.
and how they're helping other people, and boosting them, and building that network as well,
Okay.
and spreading their name out there, as
Yeah.
well on my space. You know, there's a lot of different ways that I've collaborated with businesses.
Okay. And then you was mentioning networking. So do you do networking events and that kind of thing, or like with other business, or do you host any networking events?
Oh, honestly, not as much as I should.
Mm,
But you know, that is a goal that
mm,
I'm working on.
okay. Because I know like networking, you heard the slogan, your network is your net worth. So
Mhm.
I always ask that question. I say, are you networking? So that is how to grow for sure.
Absolutely, absolutely. I've definitely networked with a lot of different businesses, you know, because of those common goals,
Mm,
because of my podcast.
yeah.
So, and it always comes up whenever I need something like, oh, wait, I know so and so does this.
Yeah.
Or when I see a post on my Facebook about somebody needing something, I'm like, oh, wait, I know so and so. And then you tag the name. So
Yeah.
networking is gold. It's
Let's
definitely
go. Yeah. So if you had any a parent out there that's looking to get a tutor, what kind of advice would you give them when they're searching for someone, and why and how they can connect with you?
so in terms of finding a tutor, you because tutoring, and that's another con, I would say it's a large space.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of competition, but I would say definitely identify your price range. I think that's a big thing. Um, you know, there's people that will tutor, you know, this cheaply, there's people that'll tutor a little bit more expensively, but I will also say that, you know, don't look for the cheap tutor and expect them to do expensive work, you
Yeah.
know? So you get what you pay for pretty much. So if
Yeah.
you know, you look for a cheap tutor, you know, they're going to do cheap things, right?
Mm-hmm.
So just keep that in the back of your mind. So tutoring is a financial investment. So if you want, you do what you can, but also just keep that in mind that, you know, if you want more, you're gonna have to pay more.
Mm-hmm.
So it is an investment. So that is one advice that I have for parents is treat tutoring as a financial investment and
Mm-hmm.
also know your budget, but treat it like an investment.
Mm-hmm.
And and let's see what else. Connection, like if you know anyone that has a tutor, so talk to your friends because that's how word of mouth happens, right?
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of my business comes from uh, word of mouth.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely talk to a friend. Say, has anyone have a tutor? I'm looking for so and so, and your friends will give you recommendations. So start with your friends, start with your local network. Um, let's see, what other advice would I give? And you gotta just try, you know, and it is a leap of faith,
Mm-hmm.
especially being a financial investment. It is a leap of faith, but you gotta just try it. You know, maybe hey, let's try 1 hour and see where this goes. You know,
Yeah.
and just know what you want beforehand. I think so. If you want somebody virtual who does math in the third grade, you know, so yeah. So it's like treat it like you're searching for a job. You know, you definitely want to search for the right tutor as well. So that's my advice with there is treat tutoring like a financial investment,
Mm-hmm.
right? Um, don't always go for the cheap tutor,
Mm-hmm.
right? I mean, well, I should rephrase that. If you go for the cheap tutor, you're gonna get cheap things. Um, and don't look for somebody cheap and expect them to do expensive things. It
Yeah.
doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
And if you want more, you gotta pay more.
Mm-hmm.
And Yeah, treat it like searching for a job, searching for a house,
Hmm.
searching for a car, right? You gotta
Hmm.
try different things and see what works. And then start with your local network. Ask for recommendations, referrals. That would be my advice.
Okay,
But then
and
start early. The earlier the better. Don't wait till the last minute to get a tutor. Don't wait until they start failing.
yeah.
The early get them in young.
Hmm.
Get them in young and mold them with the tutor. Let them grow up with the tutor, right?
Hmm.
And if you can, stick to the same tutor, and you'll see that it'll affect them developmentally as well. So, if possible, get them in young, start them young, and let them grow up with a tutor.
Okay, that's great advice. So as do you have any specialties that you do for as your tutoring, or like particular subject, or special needs or special ed? I mean, or you have any kind of specialty, or you have any teachers that's under tutors under you that helps with certain areas?
So we're pretty open in terms of our subjects. So we do the basic subjects. We
Mm-hmm.
do like math, reading, writing. We also do SAT, ACT prep. We do college counseling, editing and proofreading. So if anyone has a paper, we'll look that over for you. But we're pretty general in the subjects that we tutor.
Okay.
So we don't
Uh,
do LSAT right now. We don't do MCAT. Sorry guys, but we stick to the basic subjects.
okay, that's good to know. Do you have any future projects that you're working on right now that you can tell the audience about? Like any projects coming out?
Future projects right now is the podcast. So the podcast is one thing that I'm working on. So check it out. It's called Hot Topics. We cover a variety of different topics with an educational telescope in a way. So check out my podcast. It's called Hot Topics. It's under the business name A Step Ahead Tutoring Services. So check that out. Um, there's a couple of virtual workshops coming up as well. It's not finalized yet, but it's in the works. So the dangers of social media, I'm working on that right now with a fellow entrepreneur.
Hmm.
We're doing another homeschooling 101 virtual event coming up in October. Um, that's it right now in terms of future projects, but
Oh,
the main one is the podcast and growing that.
okay. Uh, so how do they can reach you if they was looking for a tutor right now? So you have social media, email, a website.
Yes. So if you are looking for a tutor, our website is www.astepAheadtutoringservices.com. You could also find us on social media. Just type in A Step Ahead Tutoring Services. You'll find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Eventbrite, WhatsApp. So just type in our name, A Step Ahead Tutoring Services. You'll find us on social media. So we're in a lot of different places, but definitely start with the website, www.astepaheadtutoringservices.com.
Okay. So do you have any final remarks you would like to tell the audience before we?
Oh, oh, before that, sorry, I just want to shout out again, check out my podcast. It's called Hot Topics. You'll also find it wherever you get your favorite podcast. So you'll find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Good Pods, Amazon Music, wherever you get your podcasts. Check us out. Called Hot Topics. And final remarks. I would just say, it's my final remarks. I got to think about this.
Mhm.
I would just say if you want more, you have to pay more, and treat tutoring like a financial investment.
Okay.
Now
Well,
that's my final words of advice.
okay. Thank you for coming on the show. It was nice talking to you. Y'all check her out. She's I will add your social media on my page as well, so they can also find you that way.
Yes. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay.